You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk 1150 AM. Now, back to the show with local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell.
You are listening to the Money Hour at 1150 AM, KKNW, the Saturday, January 8th show. You can also listen to my show podcast, Facebook premiere, or you can catch my show on the show YouTube channel. I am your host, Tina Mitchell, and your local mortgage expert. I bring into studio each week the best of the best experts in our local market on everything regarding your money. And now in studio, we have Kari Haas of Kari Haas Real Estate team, what to expect for 2022 and why, right here at 1150 AM KKNW. Kari, thank you again so much for coming in and allowing me to interview you on my show today.
Thanks so much for having me, Tina. It's always a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. So what is new in the real estate industry, and what do you see as the major factors that have contributed to the changes that we're seeing?
Well, as you all know, we're experiencing a record all-time low amount of inventory, and it's still very much a seller's market. So home prices are going to continue to climb through 2022. And what's really driving that is, the millennials are getting married and having babies and needing homes and yards for their dogs. And they've got great jobs in our area at Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, and lots of other tech companies, and they need housing. So even though many companies are allowing people to work from home, most people still want to stay relatively close for entertainment purposes, as well as access in the event that we do start moving toward communal working again. And interest rates are still extremely low, and buyers want to take advantage of that before the interest rates rise, as we expect they will this year. So coupled with that, we also have an aging population who are aging in place as an alternative to moving into assisted living or next phase of life housing. Because, there's a fear of being quarantined and or exposed in a group facility. And so that's causing the shortage of houses right now.
Yeah. And, it's easier for people to be able to predict what they think employment's going to do than real estate. The great thing is if you can predict what you think employment's going to do, then you predict real estate, because real estate always follows employment. So just ask what you think our employment's going to be doing in our market here. And it's a pretty obvious answer. What people think is we have an amazing employment especially in the sector that's really benefiting, and that's in tech. So Kari, what do you expect in the market for this year, 2022?
Well, like as you mentioned about jobs, because of COVID, our area is really holding up the whole world, right? But we are expecting interest rates to rise, and so buyers will scramble as they try to purchase a home, before the rates get up there. I think it's been a long time since we've had a normal market. And I think that a lot of people in the marketplace are just used to a volatile up and down. So when things settle down a little bit, it's going to feel odd. And so older sellers are going to start selling their homes as they start to need services more acutely. And, the combination of interest rates and selling more is going to bring more to the market and bring it closer to normal, maybe in 2023 or 24 is what I'm expecting.
And no matter who you are, whether you're a homeowner or not a homeowner, or selling or not selling, it benefits all of us to have a balanced market. So to be able to get back into a balanced market is going to benefit all of us. And that's what I think I hear you saying is we're getting a little bit more towards a balanced market, maybe not complete balance, but a little bit more towards it. Would that be correct?
Right.
Yeah. So Kari, what has changed about how buyers and sellers are moving around in this crazy marketplace?
Well, buyers are moving back towards the city centers and close to light rail stops as businesses adjust and people are working part-time from home, part-time coming back to the office. And, sellers who choose quality agents are still expecting and receiving very high percentage equity growth. But there really are still some, good deals to be had out there. And, I think that people will be moving back to the city center as time progresses. But people are still, staying in the outskirts and really moving to the outskirts to get more for their money.
Yes. Yeah. We've seen, I've never seen it to the level that we have, where so many people are moving, to the outer areas. And reason being is because of COVID, and they're working remotely. So, and a lot of companies are moving to give the option to allow people, they can choose to work remotely. So now they can live wherever they want to live. Right.
Well, yes, but also we're seeing that that's the case, but then somebody gets a new manager and then they want their people to come in. So we are seeing people who did move out having to move in closer because they do have to commute 2 days a week or something like that. So while it does make sense to move a little further out, moving very far out does not make sense, because we did have people moving, pretty far out into, all over parts of Western Washington, and even into Cle and that sort of.
And if there's no guarantee that you can continue to work remotely, that would be a pretty devastating place to be. So kind of really strategizing and understanding, what your options are going to be moving forward in the future. So Kari, where do you see buyers moving to get more home for their money?
Well, obviously the area between Tacoma and Seattle is very important and growing rapidly. The area between Bellingham and Seattle is also super hot, but people are moving further out. Black Diamond and Bonnie Lake both have large newer housing developments that are attractive to retirees and young families. Mm-hmm. And the Olympic Peninsula, a lot of people are going to, Port Orchard and Bremerton, and, they can sit in the car and go on the ferry instead of driving for that hour. And it can be a lot more relaxing, and you can get some work done. And like I said, North Bend is getting so popular that people are going to Cle now.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I wouldn't, if I wasn't, had so much driving around and, out in my local market, I would love to live in a place where I could just take a ferry ride into work every day. That would just be amazing. So does it matter well, I know it does matter. So let's share about why it matters who represents you. And if the market's hot, why every agent doesn't get the same results.
Well, it's technically a seller's market, but who you choose really does make a huge difference, because, a less active agent can really not do the same job and really make you hundreds of thousands of dollars less. Uh-huh. So even though, people think, oh, I'm just going to put my house on market and the market's going to drive the price. And most agents will take the offers that they receive, and they'll go, okay, pick the best one. But we tend to help our clients get even more for their house. And that has a lot to do with marketing and negotiations. So you really need a professional team, with a good track record to help you get the job done. And also for a buyer, it really matters a lot who represents you now, because, a lot of people hire their uncle, cousin's brother, because they feel obligated to them. But this is really your biggest financial investment, right? And so it really makes a difference to your bottom line how that plays out. And so less experienced agent or somebody who isn't a full-time agent might not be able to get you the best deal when you're looking to buy, or be able to get you the deal at all, because there's multiple people looking at only a few houses. And so you really want to be the one who wins and the one who doesn't pay too much, you know.
Yes. Yeah, you want to be asking your real estate agent what type of track record that they have. What are their, what are their homes selling, price over other homes? What are their, how many buyers, what percentage of buyers are getting offers, and how many transactions are they doing? Because that really makes a difference. And that's where Kari is going to be stacking up with the best of the best in that, in that data. So Kari, we've got about 1 minute left before I wrap up the show. And I had a few more questions that I wanted to ask you. That it just went by so quickly. So what other information would you like to share in our last minute together?
I did want to tell you that I think that downtown Seattle condos are a good investment right now because they are depressed a bit, but I do believe that they are going to come back in a few years. So I think that that might be a good investment coming up this year. And also, I am proud to have Matthew Gardner, Windermere's chief economist, give his forecast and discuss what to expect both globally and locally, as well as answering questions at my educational event that's coming up on February 1st on Zoom. And there's still time to register. That's on February 1st. There's still time to register, and you can reach me at 206-719-2224 or email my marketing team at marketing@karihaas.com for registration and more details about that. And I think this year is going to be a good year for equity growth. And so I would suggest that, if you knew that you were going to win the lottery, if you went out and bought a ticket, I would suggest buy a ticket right now and do it quickly because you really wish that you had bought one last year or the year before. And this year we're going to have some very good gains. So I suggest that if you were putting it off or wanting to make a change, that you should do it soon.
Yeah, get that real estate lottery ticket right now. Great advice, Kari. So for you, if you're listening to the show and thinking about selling, or if you are thinking about buying a property, Kari is an expert in our local market and really can provide great advice for you in navigating through challenging on both sides, whether seller or buyer side, to be able to maximize your dollars. So Kari, thank you so much for being here in studio with me. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Tina. Let's sell your house and find your home.
I love it.